had found a depth of pitching to give yourself a fighting chance in these games. That's all you can really ask. Last night LSU, unfortunately, the setback had to do with injury early in this game to their starter in the second inning. So, I don't know what would have happened otherwise, but obviously what ended up happening was they got pounded. And Oregon State took advantage of every opportunity, and Oregon State makes you pay. They really do. They are a group of kids that when you go and look at their statistics, you see do most things really well. When we looked at the end of the year, the thing that had us most excited about what was possible, despite a middling campaign during the regular season, it wasn't so much that we thought, okay, well, Florida State can hit. We knew they could hit. We knew they could score runs. We knew that they walked and got on base and put pressure on defenses. We just didn't get the consistent pitching we thought we were going to get throughout the course of a season, not until the end of the year. And Parrish, as we talked about yesterday, I think deserved a little bit better line than he got yesterday because I thought he pitched pretty well. He made a couple of mistakes and paid dearly for them, as is what will happen out in Omaha. But Holton was good the other night. I mean, we found 4 pitchers that we believe will give you a chance to win the game. They may not dominate the other team, but they give you a chance to win the game. So what you're asking now is for obviously the likes of Cole Sands and Mr. Karp to go out and give you a fighting chance in this thing. If you can win tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, you're set up to play again on Friday, at which point you could go back to Holton if you wanted.
Right, yeah, and let's worry about the best of 3, for the championship.
Then you go from there, yeah.
That's a great problem to have.
Sure.
That's what this thing is. You got to do what you got to do to get to the next day. And then if you can get to the best of 3, well, then that's a great problem to have. And if you want to start Holton on short rest or something along those lines on Tuesday, then that's a discussion you can have at that point. Omaha, Nebraska, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and let's fight like hell on Friday. I like where Florida State's mindset is at now. They're in a more positive place than certainly LSU, I would think, would be after what just happened to them last night.
About the idea of what's going to happen for Jonathan Isaac. There was a couple of articles written today about the way teams view him and the way that certain scouts have viewed him now. And a lot of it is favorable praise, as you might suspect. He's my ticket back to the league on a more regular basis. The way I look at Jonathan Isaac is that he's a player that could serve as the conduit to me watching regular season games, which is to say I don't typically do so when it's a foregone conclusion the way that it's been, that nothing that's happening in the regular season is going to matter. But when I can watch a player who I really grew to love while he was here and who gave in his 1 year at Florida State everything and whose upside is so great, emerge on the scene and develop over time, I think I will invest in that. So I'll be watching with interest what happens in this draft. I also am watching, admittedly, now as you begin to read the tea leaves about trade possibilities and so forth, that perhaps there are reasons to look upon the horizon and say that somebody's putting together something that's going to compete with Golden State down the line.
Yeah, maybe there's one team that can put up a fight so that Golden State, either in the Western playoff tree or, in the NBA Finals, has a team that they can play against. Otherwise, though, the other 28 teams are screwed.
That's true.
I agree. Wherever he goes, and hopefully it's not Sacramento or someplace like that, but where Isaac goes, you're going to watch for a career development. You're not watching to see him build towards leading a franchise to an NBA title. That's just not in the cards for any of these candidates that are looking for his services. But the thing I'm truly stoked about, and I hope he's listening right now, Matt Millar, it's the draft name game. That is what I'm most excited about because that's one of my favorite segments of the year.
I have not done the preview, the full-on look ahead, and decided exactly, how many are in play here, meaning foreign-born stars whose names are difficult to pronounce. I always have fun with this, but as for Jonathan Isaac, by the way, depending on, if you look at 538's write-up on the ESPN draft model, by the way, model inputs, role player, starter, all-star. They use these, it's color-coded. They have the statistical plus-minus of their college careers and how it projects. And they go through the things that ESPN usually does when they utilize metrics that many of us kind of raise an eyebrow at. That said, that's fine. You can project the statistical plus-minus in seasons 2 through 5 in the league all you want. And, there are no sure things. We got that. I just like any one of these measurements that has Jonathan Isaac as the second safest pick in the draft, which theirs does. So I think that's the right one, Tom.
Well,
That appears to be the correct model.
we do we do talk about this when it comes to NFL draft analysis. It's about who's got the highest floor. And that body type, just being serious for a brief moment here in NBA draft breakdown talk.
Almost like a pro, even as a first-year college player. That endeared him to me, and so I root for him. By the way, of all the other guys, and there are a lot of them, whether it's Lonzo Ball, obviously he talked about ad nauseum because of his idiot father, Jason Tatum, Malik Monk, any of these guys. I love Josh Jackson, by the way. I just, as an aside, I just throw that out there to you in case Josh Jackson becomes a star, because I think he's going to be. I like him a lot.
I like Malik Monk, and I saw what Malik Monk did against Georgia earlier, in the SEC campaign, and he took over a game when they were playing at Rupp.
Yeah.
And, wow, you talk about somebody that can create their own space to take their shot, and then
Well, that's what we do, right? I mean, that's what you're looking at.
they can hit their shot. Yeah, they slot him right now in some mocks going to the Knicks, and New York would sorely need something like that. Not named